and we give it back to you, the people. And we give it back to you.
And we give it back to you, the people. I love that speech by Bane, my favorite Batman villain. But yeah, we've got to take Gotham back, and spoils will be had, trials will be conducted, and maybe some retribution, but Gotham will survive.
I still don't see the feed, by the way.
Oh, you don't? Did you see the link?
Yeah, I clicked on the link and it got me to Spy Audio channel, but where's the
That works
live?
for
Oh,
me.
oh, I see. No, never mind. It's my bad. Live. Perfect. No, I wasn't
Oh,
clicking
you
on the
don't?
right thing.
Yeah, I put the main channel first and
Yeah,
then the actual direct link.
got it. Thanks.
I, you know, but yeah, welcome everyone. Good to see you all. Hope you're enjoying the artwork for this month's meetup is the timing reflects the mood in that picture with the snow flurries and all that, you know. So late November in Canada is it's always a good time. So and I know in the States there's U.S. Thanksgiving, so it's like this is like the official start of the holiday season, and so I hope you're all feeling festive and doing well. And Peter was just talking about his trip to Thailand. I don't know if you want to continue that, Peter. I didn't want to take away from the details, actually, but
No, not really. Just there are events, music events in Thailand. It's really all. Some of them are more organized than others. Um, the artists do go there to perform, which is interesting. Uh, but
like some big names you're saying, like
yeah,
the
some big names too. I found as much as it's exotic and interesting, and mostly to check the checkbox, I wouldn't repeat probably because the quality of the events here, I believe, is much better, and
really. That's
in
interesting.
in terms of the crowd, in terms of people coming, understanding why they're coming, what they're looking for, understanding the genre of the music they're looking for. It's like a maturity there. It's mostly kids kind of imitating the raves, how they understand them. Sure, they still sell tickets and big names come, because crowds are there. But in terms of the quality of the crowd, at least in my experience, is less and obviously not even close to Europe. I mean, even between Europe and us, like we still have work to do here.
Yeah, yeah.
And and then and then you go to Asia, it's like, nah. I mean, it's kind of fun to
It's
go
even like
once.
I see what you mean. Okay, that's a good way for us to kind of understand what you mean. By the way, there is a good party happening. I'll just go ahead and share this Saturday, two-room party. So something I've been happy about or trying to get going, believe it or
At the
not. But
well.
yeah, yeah, exactly. There's like bowling, I believe. There's like a arcade, and it's a drum and bass and house, two rooms. So haven't seen a two-room event in Toronto area for I don't even know when. So some
Well, the
definitely
well is
worth.
a big area. That's a big,
Yeah, I've not been, but
no?
I've heard good things, and it's a good it's a unique event, a space, and like I say, the music is probably going to be really good. Actually, it will definitely be good, and
Yeah,
so
I've
you
been
know.
to the venue a couple of
Oh, you
times,
have?
like, yeah, to eat. And then one time I was in there having a bite to eat in the Rotunda area. They had a big wrestling match going on, and there was a couple of thousand people all checking out this free wrestling event. So if that's where they're going to be doing some of the music, it
Yeah,
could be very cool because it's a multi-tier kind of outdoor kind of a thing surrounded by bars and restaurants. So
nice, nice. Yeah, I don't know exactly the layout, but I mean, the fact that it's got 2 rooms already had me sold. The fact that it's got an arcade and I think bowling and whatnot, it's just kind of an interesting thing to have at a party. So I would recommend checking it out. And
and those 2 nights, was that what, Friday and Saturday, or
no, 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 it's one night, Saturday.
oh, it's just on Saturday. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
sorry.
And I put the link there in the chat. So what else was I gonna say? Yeah, so we have pretty much I have last month I did an AI video with Marlon Brando explaining the rules of our meetup because I got tired of saying the same thing month after month. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I use AI to kind of do this? So I'm gonna go ahead and share that, and
Okay.
it'll explain the
So now you got Mel Gibson and Marlon Brando. Oh gosh. I'm not hearing him.
And I'll share the sound as well. That's pesky checkbox over there.
no sound.
No sound.
Rookie mistake. Sorry. I gotta share with sounds. I had it all ready to go too. I swear to you, man. Always happens. Okay. Why would you want to share it without sound? That's what I really want to freaking know. You know what I mean? But I don't want to blame Zoom for my problems. All right, let me try this again. Sorry about that. Now, good luck finding it. Maybe if I bring up VLAN. Okay. I have so many folders here. Oh, temp, of course. Okay. Yeah, it works better with the sounds, not quite the same. All right, let me try this again, guys. Sorry about that.
To listen to electronic music. We meet monthly to listen to electronic music producers, original content, and provide feedback. Each producer is given time for one track. The order of when each producer gets their time to share is chosen randomly via random name picker. Producers are asked to send their links and/or files ahead of time. The email address is in the event details. During the meetup, the presenter will play back each producer's content. After each track, the group does a round table with participants in Zoom and discuss the track.
So there you have it. The rules of the game have been formally explained, and so yeah, I don't know if Phil's gonna show up. I know he's in the States, so like I say, it's a big holiday there today. But so yeah, I guess I will go ahead and spin the wheel unless anyone else has any late breaking news they want to share. Thank you all for sending the links in before the start. I appreciate that. And alrighty. Okay, so just doing a quick count here. All right. All right.
Go, Gilles.
All right.
And by the way, Gilles, I know you sent in 2 tracks, but they fit together, so I'm okay.
Yeah.
But
So-
which one should I play first? That's my
The
question.
short one, the one that says sounds,
And then the other one is like,
the actual
oh.
track. So
Okay, sorry, go
let
ahead.
me do a preface
Play.
and then you'll understand. So this was I had a pack from Phil, a sound pack a while back, and So from that pack, I selected some sounds, and I made it more of an experimental slash learning experience to do sound design and make something out of nothing, basically, things that didn't make sense. So what I did is, out of all those sounds that he had, I just used a selection and created a track. And what you'll hear first is the track of just the sounds that I use. I think there's maybe 10 of them, something like that, maybe something between 7 and 10. And then after that, Lenny, if you can play the actual track that I made using those sounds. So I thought it'd be interesting, for the participants to see before and after sort of thing, so people can get an appreciation of the sounds that have been manipulated. You will recognize some, and you may recognize some effects that are put some on theirs, or also at times what I did is I would take a sound and I put it into a sampler and then use that as an instrument.
Okay, yeah, nice.
So the first track, the collection of sounds, is like a minute long, and then after that, we can play the actual track.
Okay, I will go ahead and kick that off, and let's check it out. Wow,
It's pretty cool.
what a good job with the sound pack there, Joe. Who would have thought that from those small collection of sounds you could create something so vast and expansive?
Not
I
only
mean,
small, but disjointed too. Like at the like you listen to the collection, like how would you stitch that?
Yeah.
And it does work absolutely.
There was this kind of guitar kind of strumming sound in your pack. Where did you put that in?
Oh, you could hear. I think I pitched it, and I also
Okay.
changed the. I went, but I repitched it as it's playing, so it goes. So I
Oh,
actually
okay.
repitched it while it's playing, and I repitched as well.
Because
So
when I
yeah,
listen to that one, I go, "How are you going to put that in there?" Right? Like
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
going,
yeah.
yeah,
It's there, but it's just embedded with all the
right.
other sounds. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and because that one was so distinct, I tried
Mm,
to make it not the piece,
right.
not the main piece, because or else you just remember that and you don't remember anything else. Did it sound polished, or did it sound it needed some mastering?
could be louder, but I don't know always with the normal warnings that, we're listening to it through YouTube,
Right.
et cetera, et cetera. But I really feel like it could have been maybe fuller and louder
Okay.
personally, but again, I don't know if that's my environment or not.
I don't know.
I'd say that because there's so little number of tracks involved, there's no like that struggle with like muddy conflicts and all that. So like it sounds very clean. I would put more bass. The
Okay.
bass is great, but subs almost don't exist in there. It's like, and
Okay.
I always crave for more like.
Right.
Those those sounds that
Okay.
make you
Thanks.
feel them with the chest, not with your ears, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'll go back and tweak some of that because that's what I thought. They sound a little bit flat here for some reason. I'm even wondering if before I rendered it, if I forgot maybe to put my turn on ozone because I thought it was fuller before, but I just did some last tweaking before submitting it, and I may have turned off ozone. I'll take a look. But regardless, I'll make sure that there's more bass, like you said, and a bit more fuller, like Lenny said.
Yeah, it was almost lo-fi, to be
Yeah,
honest with
that's what I
you.
thought. That's how it sounded like.
Which, like I say, but like you can always still have lo-fi and have bass, in my opinion. I don't think it's the end of the world to bridge those two,
Yeah, yeah.
but composition and arrangement, it's again, it's really well done. I mean,
Oh,
and you
Yeah.
thanks.
and you only use the stuff in the sound pack just
That's it. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, it's really creative. You brought all the pieces together well, and it's well integrated. It's evolves well. I was interested in following it and how it went. Whether it needs more or less, I don't know. It's just a matter of a choice because it stood well as it is.
Mhm.
It's I just love the fact that you got all of those things in there and you've put together a great song.
Hmm. Well, thanks for your feedback, guys. I'll revisit it in terms of the mastering, that's for sure. Mhm.
Yeah,
I mean, when you limit it either with a number of samples or a number of tracks or whatever, that's if you're in the world of trying to make like techno stuff, that's naturally how limited you are, right?
Yeah.
So this is sort of almost like putting yourself in that sort of in a position when not just the limit of that bucket of samples, but the genre itself limits you quite a bit, right? You only have like very few variables there to make it interesting. So it's kind of like very familiar kind of challenge, right? So like,
Yeah.
yeah, and
It's tough.
the timing, I forgot to mention that. I don't know if it was the snare or clap, but it was like a little bit different, so it's nice. I like that
Yeah, that was
percussion.
intentional. That there is
Yeah, yeah,
something
but
that's just off the beat.
sorry to interrupt there, but I forgot to mention that earlier. It adds another, it makes it more interesting, makes it
Hmm.
more enjoyable to listen to, frankly.
Hmm. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
good stuff, good stuff.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you for sharing, Joe. Peter.
Oh, it's a techno track. I just finished it. Yes, I think I finished it yesterday. What can I say? I still chase that hypnotic subgenre of techno, and this is just another attempt.
And
Not
this
much,
one is sound only, right, Peter? I mean, you sent me a sound file, but I'm just saying
no,
no video?
I'm pretty sure it's an MP4 file.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Good thing I asked. Because I don't see the MP4. Blah, blah, blah.
What did you call this subgenre?
I see mental drill.wave.
Oh, it's a
Peter.
WAV file, huh?
Yeah.
I guess I send you a WAV file. That's fine. Let's
I
listen
mean,
then.
if you want to send me the MP4, we can wait a minute or two. Your
That's all
internet
right.
problem. Are you sure?
That's all right. It's not like the visuals are not super interesting. I'll send the link later. But yeah, I'm more interested in you guys listening to the sound. So maybe not being distracted by the visuals is even better at this point. The subgenre is called hypnotic or raw techno, which years ago was just called techno. Now with like 500 subgenres, we have to specify what kind of techno it is. Yeah.
As usual, turn it up. This is the kind of music you want to hear as loud as you can go. So let's give it a listen.
Amazing production as always.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Very proper.
Yeah,
Because
man,
the
that was
idea
great.
of that air movement is kind of still trying. It's hard, but yeah, and also they started.
Amazing.
Oops. They started to invite people, like mostly techno house kind of producers, to one of the clubs here in Toronto. It used to be the case. I kind of mentioned it a long time ago, but then the place kind of went out of business, and there's been a gap for a few months. And now they bring people back and allow trying their music in like a club grade sound system, Paraflex to be precise. So
They
it's
they they have open decks actually. I forgot to mention this, right? On Tuesdays, I think, or Thursdays, or
And where is that?
well, the club is called Rhythm Space on Bathurst.
Rhythm
And
Space?
it's been like a couple of sessions in there. Like, but the sound system was from that
Body
like a
Shop.
year and a half ago. Yeah, the body shop. Remember, like we talked about it long time ago, and said like I was lucky to try these things on the real thing because no matter how good your monitors are, like you can't have that air movement around 20 to 30 hertz, right? Like where you don't even hear it. It's more, but it's important for this particular type of music to have that kind of very low frequency vibration happen
Is
between the
that
bass.
every Tuesday, Peter?
No, it's about once a month. They have in the rhythm space. They have that little meetup where people can check their. It's mostly oriented to like particular subgenres of dance music, like club music, and it's called Club Check, where like people who expect to either uh, have DJs playing their music or they also producing and DJing. They try those kind of tracks in the actual club environment, so they can appreciate, like those parts of the spectrum that you can't have at home, even if you have like a very good setup, right? Because those
You,
are.
you must need ear protection in that place.
It's actually not very loud, surprisingly.
Oh
It's
no.
really just um, it's just the spectrum. It goes from like 20 to some kind of crazy tens of thousands.
Okay.
So uh,
And I noticed that in your track, in this type of track, this type of techno, there isn't that those risers. I don't hear those risers right in the drop. It's
yeah,
meant not to
yeah,
have that, right? It's
yeah.
just
This
no
is
anticipation. It's more like just
yeah.
I
The
mentioned
tension
that last
could
time.
be achieved. Like the energy does change, the tension does change, but it's not like in your face,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's 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 more nuanced
It
in
doesn't
this.
have a drop, right?
Mhm.
In the more like other
In
drop,
this
like obviously in drum and bass where it's like intro and then a big drop. There's more like,
Yeah,
you know,
this particular uh, subgenre they're trying, like mine kind of still technically does what you just heard, but many producers like completely get rid of the whole concept of this because there are other ways to release the tension, right? Not necessarily in the most cheesy way, right? Yeah, now we're gonna all put our hands in the air and then boom, like this is significantly more subtle
you
than
call
this.
it cheesy, but that depends on the genre, my friend.
It absolutely
If you're
does.
talking psytrance, yes, of course. I mean, you might as well take out the ricotta cheese.
I
You know
agree
what I mean?
completely. It
Like
absolutely
psytrance,
does.
no offense to all the psytrance people out there, but sorry guys, it's
It,
like.
it, the techno is not
But
an
anyway,
exception. There are plenty of cheesy drops in the cheesy versions of techno. Like, I mean, that's just life, right? And this is what makes like their way to like large festivals like Tomorrowland. Like, it's all about like these grandiose, build-ups and drops, and kids love it, and they film it with phones, and it's good. And then some of those kids will discover real thing eventually, hopefully. So that's the idea, right?
hey,
So
I got a question. Was I don't know if there was like detuned cowbells or something. It was like a
Yes.
kind of it was that actually cowbells or was that something else?
No, it's actually it's I don't know what it is. It's the sample I found, but I did
Oh, okay.
detune it like just within just a couple of notches, just to make it a little bit more interesting.
So
So
Peter,
Peter, the other day Jeff and I were talking about DJing, and we know you're a professional. You and Lenny are both professional DJs. So when you DJ, do you play only your stuff, or do you play other people's stuff, or do you mix and match?
Yeah, first, I'm not a professional DJ. I've never been.
Yeah,
It's just
I
a
don't know that
hobby.
I'm a pro either, but
I
hey,
I've
thank you.
You
played a
get
few
paid.
parties here and there, but that's about it. So that's just a correction.
Okay.
That is important. I'm very far from that, and I haven't done that in ages. So, but I play a few tracks of my own. Mostly, I play other people's tracks. That I have a huge imposter syndrome, so like I can fight it by playing like just a couple of tracks of my own, but I'm still quite insecure about this. So
I gotta say that the all vinyl party that we held, the temper events in the summer, I actually pressed dub plates. I don't know if I mentioned this, but for all you DJs out there that want to spin vinyl, and you can spin your own tunes on vinyl for a better price than buying a record. Actually, like if you, I've been to I went to Sunrise Records at the mall in Brampton 2 days ago, and they're selling records for like $50. I can get a dub plate for like 35. So just throwing it out there, it's actually really quite an incredible thing to actually have your own music on vinyl and to actually mix with it is I don't know, a dream come true. But just thought I'd throw that in there.
I want to ask you, Peter. I'm not that knowledgeable about techno, but a lot of times I thought there was like often a snare and like a cymbal, like kind of count that often went on, and you seem to have substituted that for using sticks, which you do really really well. They're so nuanced. But that seems like such a change from a lot of the techno kind of stuff I've heard before, as well as you're setting up various rhythms or even polyrhythms at some point in the middle, which again, I just found that so creative. I found that really refreshing. It wasn't. Sometimes techno gets a little tiring on my ear because of that. That percussive cymbal snare. Am I wrong? A cymbal snare kind of combination, and you seem to have gotten all around that.
uh, just again, first, not everything is mine. Some of the stuff is mine. Some of the stuff is not mine. Like some of this I just get, you know,
Okay.
from other people. Uh, so just to make sure that the record is straight. Not everything is
Oh, I'm
my
giving you way
achievement.
more
Some things
credit than
I
you're
make
than
sure.
you're giving yourself, Peter.
I mean, it's just the objective fact. Like, I mean, I get samples and like I do a lot of that. So, but yeah, some of the stuff, and it depends on the genre, but it's mostly like uh, partially because I'm probably not, partially because I'm insecure about what I'm doing. Like I just take someone who like is well known and respected in the subgenre, like, and I put the reference track next to mine, and I just try to not mimic necessarily, but because I'm not copying like anybody's sound, but I kind of often switch between my music and the reference track just to hear, like how it would sound. And then the last kind of piece of the puzzle is ozone that I also train on a particular reference track. Could be the same reference track, could be different depending on the project, but it would also like adjust, the EQs like in a particular way. So it's a combination of things. But I don't think I have enough skill to do it consciously and also to be always in control of that. Sometimes it's like I'm just tweak it and see what happens. Oh, I like it. I don't even know why, but like, and some of them are 4x4, some of them like with filters, with all kinds of other tricks. It's just really uh, an open book. Not all often I actually am in control of what actually happens. It's just like alchemy. Like I try different things, and sometimes it works, so I stop. Like it's important to stop on time, because if you continue, I can ruin it and never come back to this, because again, like the skill is not there. So I'm kind of like
You have an incredible skill, Peter.
it's more like
You're very
it's
good
more
at
like
what you do,
I
man.
know what I like, I know what I want, but I'm not necessarily always I don't necessarily understand always how to get there, and sometimes I do by accident. And then I capture that and save it, save, and then and then kind of switch to like a different track, like a different instrument or whatever. But yeah, I mean, if like often enough, I get nowhere and I don't know how to go back. Like if I didn't save it on time, like I don't know what I did. So that's yeah. So like some of the praise is like, I mean, not my stuff. Some of these are just accidents. So it's like the process is kind of random in my case. So I wish I knew more, but
Well,
it's like never ending
I really
journey.
like the
So
textures that you're using. The bass, your rhythms were amazing. Like that kind of effect that you're trying to get, that seems to breathe. I was really like that piece a lot.
Yeah,
thanks.
it's very, very good. Very good. I mean, we're spoiled,
Mm.
but I appreciate the fact that, it's proper. I don't even have the words, but it just has the correct vibe, the correct feel. It feels like it's ready to go. Like, you know what I mean? I want to hear it in the warehouse, the big,
Yeah.
big environment. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
it's
It's
it
just
works.
the important part is to know what it should be, right? Like by following those artists, by traveling, by listening to them, going to those festivals and events and whatever. Like, I mean, I have a pretty decent idea what it should be, right? And
Yeah,
then it's kind of like, how do I get there? Like, it's quite random,
yeah.
not guaranteed at all. Like, more stuff goes to the garbage than to actually see
Well,
stuff
I was trying to make
valuable.
this point the other day, and I was really trying to say it for others, is that, like when you hear great artists at time after time, they step up and take it even further than they did the last time, and and it's just not easy to do. Like we just think, oh, that person just, like Wayne Gretzky as a hockey player, or whoever you want to, they still got to freaking work. They still got to practice. They still have times when they don't do so well and they lose. It's like, you know what I mean? And I think it's me, it could be just me, but I always thought, oh, this guy's got it easy. He's got like this natural born talent. He's got like the Midas touch. And then you realize, no, they're human, just like you and me, and they're freaking just, they don't quit. So I find it very inspiring when I hear a lot of the stuff that you guys bring to the table. And anyway, but yeah, it's all about the ear too, right? At the end of the day, I think we've had this conversation many times, but I was talking to my friend of mine yesterday, and we were talking about how many instrumentalists that I personally know that aren't composers. They're good at playing their instrument really well, and then there's other people that play an instrument and they compose. And I just find it's interesting how there's that dynamic too. And then in electronic music, you have people that are not even really musicians sometimes, but they have the ear and the passion. And because they're so into the music, that they get a feel for, like as long as they have a true ear and they're honest with their hearing, really, at the end of the day, being honest with what you are doing versus what you're hearing and whatnot, you can hear some great things. And anyways, thank you again, Peter, for sharing. And
Yeah.
if
Thank you,
you want to
Peter.
Thanks,
drop the
Peter.
link for the visual, like I don't know, like I say, I got the WAV file, so
I'll drop a
But-
YouTube link at the end
Okay,
if people want
alright.
to kind of
Yeah,
relive
cool.
it.
definitely. Ready? Andrew, how are you doing tonight?
Not too bad. Hope everyone's doing all right too.
Yeah.
Hey, Andrew.
All right, cool. This track is it's not new, but it's a simple track that starts off with a piano and starts to evolve slowly. It's called a long journey or something like that, and yeah. So and then it gets a little jazzy at the end, and it was just something that I was putzing around with. I wasn't quite sure. I was having a tough time coming up with ideas at the time, so I I just started with something simple, as you'll hear, and just added to it. It's a little bit of an additive track, and it's about 6 minutes long, so it's a little bit long in the tooth, but it is what it is. Yeah, so if you guys want to just take a listen and let me know what you think. It's decent or not, I'd be appreciated. Thank you.
Alrighty. Let's go ahead and give it a spin.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you. That's a long story in a nutshell.
Somewhere around half a minute to a minute when the percussion starts, when the actual, the drums like start
Right.
like kicking in.
Okay. Yeah.
I've
Thank
seen
you.
how.
It's a long story in a
Oops,
nutshell. Whoa.
I
Is that me?
keep forgetting. No, it's me. Sorry. Yeah, so I've seen how in a similar fashion, not all the drums go right away. It's like I would take that. I know it's like the site says 4 month. You uploaded 4 months ago. It's probably finished. But if you ever feel like playing with that again, try not to put all the drums at the when the drums kick in. Try to build that, because it's kind of like you have like a nice smooth like sort of build up at the beginning, and then boom, all the drums like start uh, working
Okay.
all at the same time, and it kind of creates like a little, maybe intentional, maybe not, I'm not sure, but it kind of like energy kind of jumps. It's like I would probably try to smooth it by introducing drums sort of in
Okay.
some
So
order.
so yeah, put so
So it's kind
on a
of like
graph.
continues
Yeah.
building. It's just me again. It's really just a matter of taste. It's not, there's no right or wrong. I don't think. I would
Okay.
just try that just for the sake of experiment.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Cool. I'll take that into mind. Thanks, Peter.
So, Andrew, I love a lot of your ideas, and I liked a lot of the patterns and the way that they move together. You have a line, da 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 da,
Mm.
something like that, that goes
Yeah.
out. Now, it's interesting because you didn't choose to vary it in any way. So and I guess that's a choice. It's, sometimes I don't know that you need to always do the full piece, because if you just went da da da, my mind will bring in some of the stuff, so that
Okay.
having less will do the same job but leave some anticipation. And so sometimes you've decided to always have it long notes, hanging notes. Sometimes you could just have the pattern, and it could be shorter, or you don't need to necessarily do the whole pattern. Or sometimes you moved away from the pattern, and you could bring just some of those notes in at various points in the song. So I just felt a little variation on that piece. I like it. It hints at a minor key, but you don't really go into it in a full way, which is fine. So it's taking. I like the simplicity because it allows you to move your patterns all around. But I just you have that choice, if you were doing it, to actually vary that kind of melody line a little bit, or harmony line. So
Okay. All right. So yeah. So there's the first. I guess it's a C, and then it goes dun dun dun, and then I don't have to put in the rest of it. Is that what you're saying?
well, you have it going a number of times, but at certain times after I've heard it play, you might only use certain notes from it,
Okay.
and or float certain notes through the song, so that it's hanging there, because we already know what the pattern is.
Okay.
So you
So
can draw,
leave some work to the listener.
yeah, and use it more, as opposed to the repetitive like pattern. Use
Okay.
it more melodically, or harmonically, and just drop it in. And a lot of times my mind will fill in maybe whatever notes you didn't play, because my head has already got that pattern set.
Okay.
And
All right.
I'm glad you brought back that piece at the end too. That da, na, 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 na. I'm glad because at one point it disappeared. Either that
Yep.
or
Yeah.
it was hidden, but then you brought it back, which I'm really happy that you did. Two things came to mind when I was listening to the piece. First of all, it was very hypnotic. I love that. I mean, at the beginning, you just get into that trance. Um, that lead sound that you used to me, I don't know if it's my speakers or my ears, but it sounded a little shrilly to me, like very just cutting into that really high frequency. And because there's not much else in that high frequency, it's almost like a soprano woman just singing on top. And it just, to me, it was a little too overwhelming.
Oh, you're talking about the lead at the near the end of it that goes off into the kind of the.
I think it's at the end, but it's a lot at the beginning. Yeah, it's a
Oh, there
lot
it's at the
at the
beginning.
beginning. It's there. I mean, it's really
Oh,
there
okay.
at the
Okay.
beginning.
Yeah, I
Um,
totally
Okay.
agree with that. I noticed that as well. Like a
mhm.
little, I would just tone it down just a tiny bit.
Either that, because the melody is nice on it, either that or try different instruments with different ranges and
Oh,
see.
I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's the
yeah. Okay.
same sort of piece I'm speaking of, and part of it can be what Jill and Peter the shrillness, but part of it may be ending the note sooner. It doesn't need to always go for so
That
long.
too.
Sometimes it could have just ended and faded out, or
Hmm.
like you could have modulated the volume a little bit at certain times. So I would just play with that section
Hmm.
a bit more. Yeah.
And my other note is kind of piggyback on Peter. I'm with Peter there that the drums don't come in until quite late. And at that point, when they come in, it almost seemed like two separate tracks to me, almost, because it was so distinct. All of a sudden, you've got this thing. Then the drum comes in strong, plus you've got that snare or clap that comes in. So something to go along with what Peter said is you could try to either bring them forward, but put a low pass filter that you slowly open up,
Okay.
right? And then at the same time, while that transition is happening with the bass line that's so fantastic, you could slowly diminish its volume. So as the drums are opening up the filter, your bass, which is hypnotic, kind of disappears slowly. And that again,
Okay.
it's just goes along with the kind of trancy
Or maybe it's just side chain it
or sidechain it.
with the drums, so like they're more prominent. But like yeah, I mean it's just kind of like you're kind of like drifting, and then,
Yeah,
something happens.
yeah.
I don't know
And and
by
and that
intentionally or not. Like the kind of like
mhm.
You know what? I don't know if there was any intention behind it. It was just it just came out that way.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's really good. It's very trancy, and I was kind of lost in it. I really liked it.
The
Oh,
interesting
thank
thing
you.
is a lot of the times, and this is trial and error, so you could try it and maybe it won't work. But a lot of times people bring the kick in first and then later the other elements. But it might be interesting to start with the snare, who knows? And then bring the kick in later. I don't know, just throwing it out there.
Okay.
Or
Hmm.
All
like
right.
the filter with both elements, but for sure that's a very normal, or even hi-hat sometimes there's like a kind of tradition, I would say, of
Yeah.
music that
But
kind of.
because the track does have some sort of hypnotic feel to it, I think subtle changes might work better as opposed to, like that,
Right,
especially
right.
that kick and that snare that comes in. Like it's we're going into like almost a dancey part from after being a little bit more
Yeah,
subdued.
and it's a really nice intro. Like it really captivates your attention or whatever you're into it. So it's a
Mhm.
Well, appreciate it.
nice
Thank you.
mood.
Thanks, Lonnie.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Okay. So, well, the next time I dive into it, I'll take those suggestions into account. And I do understand what you're saying now, Gil, that that lead is a little bit on the harsh side. I'm reimagining it, and yeah, I kind of agree with you there. So I'll definitely tone it down a little bit.
Mhm.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank
it
you.
might depend on the sound system too. Like and maybe on vinyl it wouldn't be that like uh, sort of as prominent probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually vinyl with super high-end sounds is dangerous, though, frankly speaking. Anything above the 10,000 K mark is it's a strange thing of vinyl. Yeah, and I believe it goes back to the standard that they use for the phonograph. You know what I mean? Like they actually, and there's more movement at the high ends. So it's amazing the issues with freaking high end in vinyl, to be honest with you. It's a real pleasure when you're doing digital and you don't have those concerns as much, you know? It's kind of interesting. But Jeff, you're up. What's going on?
Yeah, yeah. So I call this one Turbojet. So you were talking about your high-speed car there, Lenny. So this one, it started off as a psycho kind of bass thing, like with a and I turned the bass into lead part, and I was listening to it, and I sort of had like one solid beat that just went behind it the whole time. And I said, oh, okay, well, what am I going to do with this? Is it going into trash heap, or what am I doing? And then I just took my keyboard out and I started laying down these kind of chill chords over it. And for some reason, it seemed to work all right. And then I tried another exploration on this, which was with bongos, which I only tried once before, and I didn't get enough variation on it. But here I got some some crazy bongos going on, and some rhythms, this frenetic kind of bass, and a bit of a chill keyboard. So the big challenge I had here was trying to clean it up, because I got so much happening that I was flooding across a lot of frequencies. So it was cleaning things up, trying to drop some stuff out, trying to look at, maybe some slight transitions into various parts. So it's okay. I felt that I still wanted to humanize it more. I still wanted it to be more integrated, but it is quite frenetic, and I did have a lot of fun doing it. I still think I would have to work at it a fair bit more just to get it clean. So I wouldn't mind any types of feedback from a production point, or even from a creative point. So yeah, if you don't mind letting it go there, Lenny, that.
I don't mind at all. That's what I'm here for. So let's give it a listen.
Well, there we go. A loss of control in a lot of areas. I'd like to rein it in, or make it a little bit more smooth. But there was this frenetic thing that was going on, and I had to let swim. So I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, it is very frenetic, and you nailed that. Um,
Yeah, and there's a lot of jazz. Like I remember, I would have the frenetic drums. You know what I mean? So I feel like the jazz influence was on full display there. Jeff, sorry to interrupt there, Joe, but
yeah, yeah.
just
What I was gonna say is what you may want to do, because you've got this tension high up all the time, is
Yeah.
you may want to release it at some point and then bring it back, because
So
it's like,
what? There are times when I drop the tension, I could just lengthen that off a little
yeah, I
bit.
think so.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
song's only 2 minutes and something, and that might. So okay, just make that longer at certain points to give it a bit of a breather. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and
although
in
although
that time,
personally
even
personally
drop the
I don't
bongos,
I don't
because the
mind
bongos are very frenetic all the time. So,
I don't
Oh,
mind it being fast all the time though, just to throw it out there.
okay.
well, that comes from Lenny, who loves
No,
drum and
I'm
bass.
just saying like I well, okay, fine, but I'm just saying
I'm okay with that, Lenny.
sometimes
All
fast,
right.
like
Give me a fast car.
pedal to the metal, and that's it. You know what I mean? One
Yeah, yeah,
speed.
yeah.
Well, it works anyways as it is, but it's an interesting thought. I'm sure that you could actually do what Jill suggested and get, but it would be a different experience just to throw it out there.
Yeah,
So I could do that, and maybe, or like at certain points, I could maybe drop those bongos out or something like that, right? That's where I was sort of going when I was mixing. I started to drop things out more, right? Because there was so much in there. It was like it was one of those songs when you had the whole kitchen sink, and then I just keep subtracting and
yeah.
subtracting and subtracting because it was too messy. And in some spots, I managed to clean it up, other places not. But yeah, I think it need if it was actually going to be moving it through as a more complete song, I have to massage out some of
Mhm.
the pieces, and the bongos you've mentioned, a bit of a breather. Um, I don't know what else would I possibly do
Well, at the
to make.
beginning, it seemed like a lot of frequencies in the low end were competing, or low mid
Yeah,
range.
yeah,
It's like either cut some things out some more, because I know you went chop 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 chop
yeah,
some more, or carve out your frequencies a little bit. That might also do it.
I
yeah.
thought it
There's
worked.
some.
I just want to throw it out there. I don't know. I did not have that feeling that it was like competing. And I just want to mention Miles Davis for a moment. Like a
Oh,
lot of old school Miles Davis, well, old school, I guess all of it is old school at this point, but it would be frenetic and it would just go on for like 20 minutes. And it was just like, but it was like different, you know, instrumentalists or different instruments sort of coming in and out. But I had that kind of feeling of like these parallel movements, and you had like this main rhythm which within itself was polyrhythmic, but it had kind of its own bend, and then you had like this other layer that sort of worked really well, and I suppose that's why I keep harping on this jazz theme,
well,
but yeah, that's
I
just what came to
did keep.
mind anyway.
I did think of you a few times when I was doing this, because I was wondering, because when I originally had it, Letty, it was the bass and some drums, and the I only added the keyboards and the top piece to it within the last day or two.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I think it
before
works personally, but
uh,
Well, it
it,
tames it down, which I think
it
is
it
good.
did. Yeah, but I have an editing issue, because I do think personally at spots it's a little muddy. I want to be able to clear something up, give it a little more definition,
Mhm.
and yeah, yeah. I love the Miles Davis approach. Yeah,
I mean, like, I'm not, I don't pretend to be a jazz, you know like very knowledgeable, but Miles Davis is definitely the one jazz person that I've listened to for a long time. You know, even in high school I was introduced, or in university I was introduced to his music. And Bitches Brew, you know, I
Oh
think is a
yeah.
famous one, right? But
Mhm.
there are pieces sometimes when, I don't know, I guess if you're not familiar with jazz and you listen to it, you're like, man, is this fast? Well, actually, Ginger Baker, the
Mm.
drummer, he was a jazz drummer, right? Just to go to show you. So, you know, and that was like metal or whatever. But anyways, yeah, I guess I am biased. I definitely like the drums, you know what I mean? And I like the frenetic pace. Um, and it was kind of a nice balance too, because it didn't seem like the pieces all worked well together. And actually the sound of the snare, I think it was, or maybe it was a bongo, was like just a nice choice of sounds too. And I think that's what I meant by the cleanness. Like the percussion stood on its own. It was already very interesting. So yeah, I really like. What was that 4/4 time? I guess it was, right? I'm not too
Yeah, it was four
sophisticated with that,
four,
but
but I punctuated the rhythms at different points in time so that the rhythm did change, did uh, get punctuated a little differently at different times. And with the drums, so there was like a kick that was in there that I varied largely just in you know, through the EQ or from the volume. There was, you know, a snare that was going. There was an electronic rhythm that was going, or as well. Yeah, as bongos at a couple of different frequencies, but I still feel that if I was going to spend any more time, I need to rein it in more. It was more about that exciting kind of bass rhythm that I got going, and trying to make everything else work around it, which yeah, which just created its own challenges. But and that really was the piece, was not trying to hide that bass, but to try to
work
massage
with it.
everything else to go. Yeah,
Right,
because
right.
because
Be
that
interesting
bass.
to hear what you do with it. You know what I mean? Because I already think it's a great piece, but who knows?
Thank you.
Maybe you can make it, you know, into something. Could
Well,
have different versions. I know
yep.
sometimes I would buy like an EP and it would be like 5 versions of the same track or whatever, and it was cool, you know. And sometimes you would want to hear one version, sometimes another. So that's another idea possibly to keep in mind.
Well, a lot of what I do is exploratory. I don't use samples. I always create my own sounds. I mean, either they're you know, instruments that are in Logic, or else I you know, massage the sounds through the EQ, or from a compressor, or you know, through the LFO and stuff like that. But I don't use samples. I either play it into the keyboard, or I step time it.
Right on.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, it sounded good. I think your mastering was, I mean, I don't know, you were concerned about some competing stuff. Maybe I would have to re-listen to it, but generally I thought it sounded decent. It sounded really good actually to me.
Oh, good.
And the visualizer is cool with that website.
Peter liked
Glad
the
Phil
visualizer. Okay. Yeah.
Phil mentioned that to me. Now it's like, okay, whenever I have a track with Audius or whatever, I'll remember to do the visualizer because it is pretty good.
Yeah.
I wish I could get the Milk Drop to cooperate. You know the one from Winamp? It's like a classic visualizer. I'm still working on it, but trying to get it to go with our own streams here. But yeah, I really like the track there, Jeff.
Okay. Well, thank
It's
you,
fresh.
because
It's a fresh track too. Like it's not something that didn't sound like it sounded, you know, innovative. It was good.
I'm probably with Lenny on this one. Nothing did strike me as too muddy, but also admittedly I had to restart YouTube, so I missed like the first probably 20 seconds. So maybe that area in the beginning she was referring to. Maybe I just didn't hear that. So, but otherwise, clean enough as far as as far as I'm concerned. Again, now with that in mind, we could and take another listen, maybe
Right.
pay more
I'll take
attention.
another listen and maybe I'll hear what you guys are saying. But yeah,
Well,
at first listen, I was like impressed.
oh well, that's good. And one of these days, I'm going to like I've gone through a lot of my things, and I tried to find uh, about 8 or 10 songs that sort of sound like they would go together. So I've been taking those and remixing those so that I actually uh, try to put on out like an album, because I find that every time I go to write a song, I go in a totally different direction. So this exercise is sort of saying, okay, here's a number of songs that might sound together, and can I now start to mix them and EQ them so that I actually have like an album or something that is more together. Like I don't start from a palette, and certainly I love the creative part and creating and building all the new sounds and instruments, but there's something about you know, taking some of my better things and using those kind of tools and themes and becoming more proficient with those, that there's a lot to be said for that. Or like because I don't have a genre, and I've never really picked a genre to work in. So
Yeah, and even in a genre, it's difficult though, in all sincerity, and especially with
mm-hmm.
electronic dance music, I really feel like it's asking a lot. Not to say that there aren't people that have accomplished it, but creating like a progressive rock style concept album where you have beginning to end, and then each individual track is also supposed to stand on its own as like a banger that a DJ wants to play. Like that's a freaking tall task just to throw
Yeah.
it out there. And I think some genres, I don't know, I hope this doesn't sound like a cope, but I think it's easier to make an album if you're just, you know what I mean, like metal or something. So you can have whatever you like, your intro track, and you know what I mean. But dance music is like, you know what I mean. People aren't necessarily. It depends on the scenario, but it's it's really just about the tune, actually. You know what I mean. It's almost like a drug, frankly.
Yeah,
You know.
the problem I think with the dance music is it's real time because DJ is there to
Right.
read the crowd, to change things, to curate on the fly, right?
And they're
So
creating the story.
the album is by definition already pre-programmed. But what if
Right.
that particular order or this particular timing doesn't work right now with this particular people, right? So the dance music, the art of mixing like live, right, is about mixing the right things at the right time, which is counterintuitive if you think about the album in advance. Like you don't know what's
Right.
going on right now in
Right.
the moment, right? So you
That's exactly
can't.
what I was trying to articulate. That's what I mean. So imagine trying to accomplish both. It's almost not worth it in a way. But I mean, you know, some people greater than us or me anyway that have been able to do that. But I don't personally mind just a collection of bangers, frankly. I don't expect, you know what I mean, like Pink Floyd The Wall when I throw down, you know, the latest you know, current value. But and yet there is it is coherent. I think in an abstract way. I sort of struggle a lot of times, frankly, with certain artists who have a very linear approach to storytelling. And to what Peter just said, to add on to that, a DJ tells a story. So he just needs building blocks sometimes, right? He doesn't need a bunch of already pre-programmed stories. He needs actual building blocks that they or he or she that can like put together, and it's a unique experience. So just to throw it out there. But I really do like the fact that, you know, all these different avenues exist at the end of the day, right? There's really no right or wrong answer. And especially within our group that, you know, like we're very agnostic with the genres and whatnot. But it's nice to actually hear both dance and non-dance electronic music. I think a lot of the times, I would say the public, though it may be changing, I suppose, with certain, you know, electronica being kind of popular, I guess. But a lot of people just associate electronic music with dance music. Is basically what I'm saying. You know what I mean? The general public, they immediately would go, and I think it's great that there's so many different avenues. Having said that, so yeah, I guess I'm the last person on the list here.
Go, Lenny.
I was going to do an 80s party, okay? And I thought, all right, you know what? I honestly have only really ever DJ'd more or less drum and bass or stuff like that. And I thought it would be interesting to do 80s. And I think I mentioned this last meetup. And when I started getting down into it, I had a folder of a bunch of tracks that I liked. And I was like a teenager in the 80s, you know what I mean? So I went to parties and heard this music, you know what I mean? Back in the high school dances and all that stuff, right? I ended up creating my own versions. To make a long story short,
Cool.
that I ended up thinking, okay, I'll mix in the originals and I'll throw my versions in, and it was actually really fun. So what I'm about to play is one of those tracks that I don't know, frankly, that I would release it. I don't know that it's really, I don't know. I'll just play it, but just to say that, it's just straight ahead 80s style kind of a dance vibe. That's it. It's not trying to, you know what I mean, do anything else, frankly. It's just good beats. And it just makes you feel. For me, a lot of times what I like about music is that it elevates my mood. It's like I put this music on and I'm like, now I feel better. And it's just like, I just think that's beautiful. I don't think I think anyone that can accomplish that has done a great thing, a great service to humanity. And I appreciate music that does that, frankly. So with that, I'll give this a spin.
fighting an ancient evil. We are fighting an ancient evil.
Nice.
Whoa, that rocks. Oof,
Really, eh? Well, thank you.
Yeah.
man.
What was that roar, that engine roar that you had going on there for a while?
Mostly Serum and some what the hell's the name of the other one? I don't know why my brain is drawing a blank here. But
Oh, I
actually
really
I can bring
like
it up.
that. It was
Oh,
just hanging over the top like some sort of like airplane or something like that.
It,
Yeah,
it
like
did sound like Serum. For how long have you been using Serum?
well, I had Serum probably I don't know 5 years maybe.
I don't remember like anything was roaring like Serum in your tracks before.
Yeah, I've been using Serum actually, and I'm trying to bring up my other my DAW here actually to remind myself. I don't know why I can't think of it. Insert.
Your choice of instrumentation was really good because everything has its sat at its own
Vital.
frequency.
Vital is the other one. So Vital and Serum are like, to be honest, sorry to interrupt there, Joe, but thank you. Yeah, actually I actually created two songs, believe it or not, and I actually combined them. So I created two versions of the same track, more or less. I was like, you know what? What if I just go from one to the next? So there's actually a part where you can actually hear the transition, but I don't know, it works. Like I personally, every time I re-listen to it, I think, does that work? Does that actually work? And
I think it
it's
worked. It was like a part
Yeah.
A, part B. So
yeah,
they're different, but not overly different. You know, you have a
right.
lot of the same sounds carrying from one part to the other. So no, it works, and the beat continues, and yeah, and I love
Yeah, it's
some of
just
those
like
transitions you did were fantastic too.
it's just driving music, you know. I just like you imagine you're on like a road trip and you
With
throw
your
on,
fast car,
you
yeah,
know,
not a slow car.
right, and and it's kind of to me has the synthwave genre, but like with breaks, you know what I mean? So that was like a real exciting thing for me is to have like the hard drums, which are like side chained and like it's like very punchy. I do find personally some synthwave lacks that. It doesn't quite have the
It's more melancholic than this. That
yeah,
is
it
correct.
doesn't have the testicular fortitude. I would like to call it. You know what I mean?
It had a
Going
lot
back to
of
that,
punch. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what does it for me personally. Like I like powerful music, as I stated earlier. So that was the intention. So like, and it has melody in it, which is obviously when you think of 80s dance music, that's actually something unique about it. It wasn't just rhythm, right? You know what I mean? It actually had a lot of melody. So it's interesting working with the I've always actually liked melody, frankly, even with I was accused of being a melodic drum and bass producer at one point, and I thought it was like an offensive term. I was like, I make melodic drum and bass. But I was like later, I'm like, okay, I might as well own it and go further with it, right? But yeah, this break stuff at this tempo, it's very fun for me. You know what I mean? Like working at the different speed all the time. So I have a whole collection of tunes that are in this range now. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking I'm gonna maybe then I'm reconsidering, but I might put it out under a different name. I don't want to confuse people. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like it doesn't sound like my normal stuff, right? So
It's an
you,
option.
you know, I'm thinking of calling it. Well, I don't want to reveal it now, but I'm going with the breakdancing theme, basically. So I got like break dancers and stuff. but yeah, it's a fun genre, and like I say, the other thing about it is like, you know, I do appreciate subtlety and all kinds of stuff, but this track is not really subtle. Like
Oh,
it's
that's an opposite of subtle.
right. It is what it is, right? And it just
It's crushing.
yeah, and I think obviously listening to a lot of the more contemporary music, adding that to the 80s feel. So you kind of get both worlds, right? You get like the newer type of style and even the engineering, right? Like, like honestly, like we have way more tools at our disposal now than most people ever did, frankly, to be honest. So there's really no excuse. Like we really should be making like even better music, frankly.
People used to have what, like a drum machine and like a cheap synth, and that's it.
Yeah, and they created some of the best music ever, right? Like you listen to like New Order, or I think I mentioned Ministry last time. Those were a lot of the kind of electronic music that was very popular in the 80s, that I used to hear. And it's so it has like a kind of industrial too. That's the other side of it. Someone I heard, listen to it, said some of my style is kind of like punk electro. I never even heard of that term before, but so be it. But
The sounds that you got, you're using a sample, and they're just like each note is like a solid boom, boom. And how is that? Is that just the sample that you use has that sound? It's almost like you've got a chord or a note and it gets ripped off so that it almost becomes silent, and then another sound. It's a rather unique. And is that serum, or is that just
I don't know if what you're referring to is the side chaining, perhaps. But it is a combination of samples and like MIDI. So a lot of times I will convert the samples into MIDI,
right?
and that's where I end up layering like the serum with the samples, and so it gives it a little bit more depth, I would say.
Yeah, I
And and
think so.
the and the other thing I do is I double up the drums. You may not necessarily
Okay,
notice that, but you probably feel it. So
right.
each kick and snare, there's actually two kicks and two snares actually. So there's an extra layer that I throw over top, and then I sidechain it across the entire track.
When you're like with sort of the melody notes, it's almost like the note plays, and then it's like there's um like a 16th note of silence, and it's not a clean break at the 16. It's almost like space has been ripped from the note. It's something that I hear in music, and you used it so well there. I'm not really sure if that's part of the sample, part of the melody, or if it's a conscious break that you're putting into the music between the various notes.
Yeah, no, for sure. The timing is everything. I think it could be the side chaining that you're referring to. I might mention actually one thing that I learned from
The cutoff must be almost 100%. It's almost like bam, and it ends, right?
Yeah, that
There's
I don't actually sidechain that heavy, but it could be in the sample ahead of time. But I just want to mention
okay,
with the sidechaining with neurofunk,
right,
the modern style of drum and bass neurofunk subgenre, they have a pre-delay. So the sidechain actually happens before the kick and after the kick, just a little bit. Like I think it's 100 milliseconds. So it has like a strange little effect. So that whereas normal sidechaining would be like on the nose, it
right. You're
actually goes
just
out
ducking.
first and then it comes in, and then and so it has a kind of like a stuttering effect sometimes you'll notice with the
Right.
bass. The
That's a
bass is
good word.
like,
That's
yeah,
the word. The
yeah.
stutter, the
If you
space that's built in
want to
there.
hear, if you really want to hear, I can maybe try to find some sample tracks, but there's some very, very, very interesting neurofunk where you hear that effect and it's like you don't even know how to describe it, but it's like it's
Yeah,
there.
and I like that sound, and it works so well to punctuate, and add feeling. So it's an effect I haven't learned how to do. It's
Just kind of cuts through everything, right? Like you
yeah,
can
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's the
like there's
beauty
the
of it, right? It's a
space. Yeah.
simple trick, but the drums always sound nice, and you're getting the full bandwidth every time. And so, especially like even in rock, it's very popular to do that style. And I personally, you know, I don't know if I overdo it, but at the end of the
No, it
day,
was
that's that
great.
that
No.
that's the nature of that track anyway. So, you know,
Yeah, that
but
stutter. It's stutter and it leaves the space and yeah, it's just
yeah, and
I
the subtlety with timing. I mean, we
mhm.
all know as people playing around with music how much impact just the slightest thing can be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And actually, that's another thing with my drums. They're not actually 100% perfect. I actually go in and the snare could be like this much off, the kick is off a little bit,
Hmm.
so that it has more of a natural swing,
Right.
I would
Are you
say.
building? Are you putting in a swing rhythm, or are you building your own swing in?
I do it manually.
Okay.
Yeah, I literally do it manually. So if I'm dealing with I usually copy a beat, right? So I take a beat that I like, I isolate it in my DJ software. So the DJ software these days, you can have just the kicks, you can have just the bass, you can have, you know what I mean? You can create stems basically from a stereo mix, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I take a track I like and I throw it in my DAW, and then I zoom in on it. And by way of me structuring it, either I'm messing it up myself or that's how the beat is, but it has a cool effect.
Mm,
It's not perfect. It doesn't line up like 100%
right.
quantized on the beat.
Yeah.
It's off. And I
Hmm.
just work with that. So I've gotten to the point now where I just zoom in to the point where I got to zoom in so far in my DAW that by the time you zoom out, you can't even notice it. But
Mm.
when you go in real close, you're like, oh, this is off just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. And personally, I find that it helps a lot, especially with breaks, right? I don't think this would work with all types of music, but with breaks and drum and bass, anything that has those type of break beats, you know, um, you know, and drummers do it naturally. When you hear like a really talented drummer, like a rock drummer, they do those little timing things amazingly just by their ability to drum or whatever. And so yeah, I just think that personally, it's something that takes extra time. Like
Mm.
sometimes it's actually sometimes painful because I got to go through like the entire track, each beat one at a time.
Right.
Literally every single one.
And you're
And then
pulling out the audio file here as opposed to a MIDI or both.
both,
Yeah.
both,
Okay.
yeah. So that's I think personally that's I always how some people say like nowadays everything is so perfect or whatever, sounds so clean, and they struggle to have dirt. I've never had that problem. Like I got more dirt than I know what to do with, frankly. So it's the opposite issue. So I'm always fighting the dirt.
Yeah.
That's where
Me
the
too.
MIDI helps, in my opinion, because you have the nice clean sound straight from the VST instrument. It always sounds in my ears cleaner, fuller, more pleasing than the sample. Samples are grittier, tends to be. I don't know why that is, frankly. I can't understand.
I
You
think
would think if you
somebody,
had a high definition like recording, why doesn't, but it doesn't. It really doesn't
but
sound the same.
they may have worked for a long time to get that dirty kind of sound,
Yeah,
and it worked
true.
for them in that instance. But for
Right.
you, you're taking it and you're applying it to a slightly different instance. So you want to nuance it to your own
Yeah.
personal,
Yeah, exactly. And
yeah.
and I think personally there's a lot of stuff to be found there. There's a lot of
Mhm.
I think the world between perfection and imperfection, being able to kind of work with that tension in a way, it's interesting. You know what I mean? There's a lot of artifact, like actually DJing, right? Like that's the other thing. When you're mixing break beats and like the snares are off a little bit, like I swear to you, I can hear that a mile away now, like my ear, and it's horrifying to me because I'm usually not trying to do that, but sometimes it can actually sound okay. But you know what I mean? Like there's so you start to have a feel, I think personally, when you're mixing, how beats sound like when you're layering them, and you don't have the luxury of going in and zooming in and stopping and okay, let me match these, right? But in a DAW, of course, you can do all those things. But I really have applied a lot of that stuff that I do when I'm DJing to the actual production side of it. And that's the other thing I always mentioned, the DJ effects too. A lot of times I'll put my loops that are in my DAW, I'll throw it into my DJ software, and I'll start to manipulate it there, and I get like different effects and ideas that way. So I highly recommend it for that reason. But it all depends on your workflow. Like me personally, the loop roll, like if you're dealing, let's say you're doing jungle, you could kill yourself manually doing like those edits, right? You throw that amen loop in a DJ software and you start hitting loop roll, and you're gonna create rhythms that you couldn't even have done if you tried to. You know what I mean? So just to say, there's a lot of stuff that you can do with those tools. But anyway, I'm glad you got. I was hesitant to play this track, to be honest with you,
No, I
because
liked it a lot.
I wasn't sure. Not to say that it was bad, but it's like when you hear something a lot of times, you're like, is it really good or not? But I did catch myself because I've been listening to this track for a few months now. It's not really new, right? And every time I come back to it, I'm like, okay, this track, because I had about 3 different tracks I was thinking of playing tonight, and I feel like this one has the best production qualities, basically. So I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, thanks for your feedback. And
Interesting how perception, how human ear is like when we actually don't appreciate when it's perfect. Why, I wonder. Some kind of an interesting
yes,
phenomenon, right? We don't like when it's perfect.
I think
In
our mind
Ableton, by
corrects
the
it.
way, like
Oh, right.
there are automations for all kinds of things. I forgot what the term is, but you can apply to your MIDI and to samples that would be like floating like a little bit.
But you
So you
mentioned
don't
that
have to do it like manually. What's
Yes.
it called?
Yeah.
you mentioned that, Peter. There was a couple of years that I used to get up and every morning I would play music that had like some sort of a distortion or where there was a discord in the music because I just hated to hear straight ahead music anymore. It was like it was like putting a little lemon in your tea or something. It just
Yeah.
became the flavor.
Well, we had this long debate, and it almost feels like it's mandatory at this point. But people were complaining about AI slop. Okay, let's just leave it at that. And I made the point that yes, AI has cranked up the slop quotient, but we've had slop long before AI was ever invented, and Hollywood is proof of this. They've been cranking out slop for like 100 years, and some of it's good, but there is, and what I was trying to say is my neighbor, who luckily is gone for the winter, will play. It's not only slop, but it's like a limited playlist of the same slop on repeat. So it's like not only is it slop, but it's like repetitive, right? So I'm just saying, you know what? Like at least AI, it's like there's and again, like there's things that humans can do to alter the AI created stuff and make it very interesting. So, but some people are very threatened by it, and I get it. I understand. You know what I mean? But there's some artists that feel like their music is not going to be heard anymore because it's all consumed by all this AI created content, which I'm not even aware of. Like I don't listen to Spotify, so I have no clue, but supposedly this is out there. But honest to God, if you're an artist and you're threatened by AI, like I'm sorry, you're not really a good artist then, because if you can't beat the machine, man, either you got to join the machine or figure out a way to beat it, right? Like don't cry about
Well,
it. Like you know what I
well,
mean? I don't fall for that stuff. Like, oh my God, it's
yeah,
gonna replace
I
everything.
sort of have your overall opinion, but for different. For me, it's about exploration and creating something, and just learning and going out on my own adventure. It has very little to do with uh, you know, with
The
what other
process.
people are doing and that,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Like, I mean, it's just it's really nice though to be able to share music and have a conversation like this with you. and that's wonderful. But it's really, for me, it's all about a personal satisfaction and excitement I get at
And
trying to.
community, right?
Yeah,
I'm
and
sorry
the
to interrupt,
community
but
has
that's the
been
thing. Like
really
the
wonderful.
point is like we're sharing music with each
Yeah,
other.
yeah,
I think in a perfect world, that's how all music would be.
yeah.
You wouldn't even need all these like other channels. It would just be people like, hey, sharing with other people, and that's it, right? Like,
Mm.
I imagine that those who do this for a living probably feel differently now.
Yes.
But of course, we're got the luxury of doing it for pleasure, not
right.
for
Yeah.
living. So
So
Exactly.
yeah, we do have that luxury. That's true, and so it's a blessing, right? Like I'm, you know, it's a lot of freedom, and
Mm.
you can actually enjoy, and that's really what it should be all about. And and in a way, I feel sorry for those people, actually, like content creators. But you hear people even in it's not just content creators, right? There's programmers that are now losing, positions because of AI and white collar. A lot of people thought the blue collar stuff would be actually wiped out by AI, but guess what? It's the white collar jobs that have been impacted so far, more actually.
Isn't it
So
interesting to hear that they're getting the CEOs are jobs are being fed to the AI, so the AI are being asked to learn the roles of the CEOs for the large banks. The top 500s are all being mapped
why
out.
not? I
Yeah.
mean, you could easily, I tell you one thing, you could replace most world leaders with like, like a stuffed doll, and it would be more effective, I
A
think.
stuffed doll.
Like an inanimate, like, object, like a mannequin or something, and
Yeah,
just like, what
people
do they do?
people in
Actually,
general
the
are.
CEO needs to be able to talk, actually, right? At the end of the day, they
Yeah,
need to be
yeah.
able to have one of those little microphone things, like
Hmm.
Steve Jobs, and go out there on a stage, which is a skill. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's not like that's hey, if you got that skill, good for you, right? But that's really their key goal, frankly. And the guy, the best guy for this is the guy from NVIDIA with the leather jacket or whatever. He has like this photogenic like expression all the time, positivity. Like the guy just oozes, you know what I mean? And it's just like it's almost like a meme in a way, right? But you know what? It's also who AI is in the hands of. And when you look at a guy like Sam Altman, no offense, the guy who runs OpenAI, he's got like the Mark Zuckerberg repellent. Like, is this a human or is this like some type of insect or what kind of person, what type of creature am I dealing with here, right? Like, he's a creepy dude, man. No offense to Sam Altman. And that guy is in charge of like, open AI, right? And so it's like I think people, and the other thing is people want to solve this problem. Some problems are easier solved than others. You know what I mean? Once the genie's out of the bottle, like good luck regulating it. If you can do it, go for it. But you know, I really do hate though all the commercialization though now of AI, where you got like an AI assistant for this and an AI assistant for that, and it's overdone. You know what I mean? Like I got this AI thing on my phone. I just want to delete it and be done with it. You know what I mean?
there's probably going to be some correction at some point. Probably we'll see. It's quite fluid right now with all this.
It's a bandwagon effect, right? Would you like, that's it's something becomes big and everyone jumps on it. Like, I remember when the dot-com bubble burst, right? But that didn't make the internet go away. It didn't make e-commerce go away. It just kind of, wiped out some very inflated, entities. And then, I mean, look at Amazon, right? It was one of those companies back then, along with pets.com, which is just like a famous example of a failure that, but yeah, you know what? I think that we have to just stay true to the sound and whatever. Personally, I think like when you watch Terminator, right, and you have like the machines versus the humans and all that. My thing is that we need to be worthy, I think, of if we are going to fight the machine, we got to be, we got to up our game basically as humans, because you know I think the machines obviously have like the crazy computing power. But at the end of the day, like I was saying last time, AI, it lies and it hallucinates. You know what I mean? So and actually, and you know what? I had casually mentioned this a few times how people get addicted to it. There's people that treat AI like a friend. You know what I mean? It's actually sad. There's like lonely people out there that are like, Chat GPT is my best friend, and there's been some tragic cases of things that have happened where, like people have been led to suicide. They're asking Chat GPT for advice, and Chat GPT
Yeah,
is
that's
like,
kind of
yeah, you know
weird.
what? That's a good idea. You should kill yourself. You know what I mean? And it's like, whoa, dude, like this is troubling. You know what I mean? So I think we got to. That's why I love nature. That I'll say this in the end. As much as I love technology, I've made a living from technology. I just love nature. Unplugging. You just go out and experience. You know what I mean? Life
You're
without a
lucky you
cell
can do
phone.
that. You're lucky you can do that.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. Not everyone has the ability to unplug, but it can be as simple as just putting your phone away for a day or two. You know what I mean? Like I know it sounds weird. Like I can't even have my phone in a different room. I'm like, hey, where's my phone? Where's my phone? And then I realize, what the hell do I need this thing? Yes, it's connecting you to other people in the best case scenario, but I don't know. I don't want to keep ranting on and on here, but
Lenny, before everything, what's happening in December? Like the dates are kind of
right,
a little
right.
crazy. Is a meeting on, or do you think you skip over December? What do you
No,
think?
no, no. I'm planning to do a December one, so it might
What
be
do?
it might be like the 18th, maybe.
Okay, I'm looking.
You
Okay,
know?
so the 18th might be the date. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to do it exactly on Christmas Day,
No, no,
right?
no,
You
no.
know,
I don't want to have to bring you a bottle of champagne and
although if you do want to give me a bottle of champagne, I
you
don't
won't
mind,
say
but
no. Okay.
I'm not, I'm
Well,
not really a
maybe
champagne
a
guy,
beer.
but
Maybe a beer if I see you out. Okay.
no, but in all sincerity, I'm thinking of making it kind of like a less, more of like a festive environment, if you will. But it'll just be one of our meetups, but we'll do it
Okay.
for the holidays. You know what I mean? I think some people have a lot of time in their hands. I know I do during the winter months. So, and we missed the meetup in August. So
Right.
I'm thinking of continuing this trend of actually making August the spare month
Mm.
because I'm actually more busy in the summer. You know what I mean? So I think I would rather have
Yeah.
one less meetup in the summer, and then I'll make one in December happen. So
Yeah,
Okay.
sounds good.
I
So
don't know if anyone wants to do Christmas music. I think that's pushing it too far. Personally, I was thinking about it today. Like I
Yeah,
don't
if
really
for those
think
who
I could.
want to.
I don't know if I could possibly make a Christmas tune. I don't know. I don't think I even want to try. However, I thought I would socialize it if you guys are interested.
well,
um,
the 18th sounds good to me. That sounds like a realistic kind of
Yeah, are you
date.
gonna post it on Meetup?
yeah, yeah,
Next
yeah,
time?
yeah, yeah. I'll post it. Of course. And yeah, well,
I just
Excellent.
thought I wanted to ask because
Good.
had been looking at the calendar.
right, right. I had
Oh,
mentioned it last time, but it's good to repeat it. Glad that you brought that up. And yeah, with it may not be huge attendance, but at the end of the day, that's fine. But yeah, I want to make it regular, which we have been very regular, and I may be doing it from a different physical location. Not that it will be noticeable, I don't think, to anyone else, but I have I've been doing some work in another house or whatever, so I might be moving there, and I'll probably be there for December. So I'll be testing out my new internet. But besides that, yeah. But yeah, so thanks again, everyone. I
thank
really
you, Lenny.
appreciate,
Yeah, thanks,
Thanks,
Lenny.
everybody.
Thanks everyone for sharing.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Fun.
really
yeah,
enjoyed it.
Always.
have a good night.
Have
Yeah.
a
Take
good
care.
night.
All
Okay.
right.
Good night,
Cheers.
everyone.
Ciao.
And we give it back to you, the people.